Hello everyone. Today we are doing part 2, chapter 4, Landscape of the Soul. As I told you earlier, in 15th century, a skilled blacksmith named Quentin Matsys fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father of the girl would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. He thought the boy is from a low profession. One day, this young blacksmith, he went into painter's studio secretly. He painted a fly on master's latest painting, and it was painted with such a delicate realism that the painter took it for a real one and he tried to hit it away. So that was a kind of it was done with such a fineness that even the master painter could not recognize that this is not a real fly sitting on the painting. So he tried to fly it off. Then he realized the matter. I mean to say, the master painter realized that this is not a fly sitting on his latest work, but it is a painting. He took Quentin as an apprentice. He was very much impressed. Then Quentin married his beloved. He went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. The above stories from China and Flanders illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. In Europe, the aim is a perfect illusionistic likeness. You must understand this. Illusion is created in the paintings of Europe. That is a real one. The Chinese emperor gets a painting painted. He appreciates its outer appearance. The artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. That means there is a basic difference between Chinese and European form of art is European are real, but illusion has been created. On the other hand, Chinese paintings, painter can reveal the exact meaning or inside the painting. He can only guide one to understand the painting. A Western painting reproduces an actual view, the real view. The European painter wants the beholder, means those who are watching it, to look at the particular landscape from a specific angle. So he gives them an angle to see the painting with their eyes, and they see the real image. That is exactly as he saw it. The Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. He landscape it his landscape is not a real one. One can enter it from any point and travel in it in a leisurely moment. This is more true in case of horizontal scroll. Here one slowly opens one section of the painting, then rolls it up and moves on to the other. That means there are different paths and different viewpoints of Chinese painting, and only a painter can help a beholder to see or understand the actual meaning of the painting. This adds to a dimension of time. It also requires the active participation of the viewer, a participation which is physical as well as mental. We are talking about the Chinese painting. The European painter wants the viewer to borrow his eyes. The Chinese painter does not want him to do so. Instead, he wants the viewer to enter his mind. So the basic difference is you can understand the European painting just by just by your eyes, but on the other hand, in Chinese painting, whatsoever you see with your naked eyes is not the only meaning, but you have to borrow the mind of the painter to understand the inner meaning. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual. There is a concept behind it. This concept is expressed as Shang Shui, which literally means mountain water. This concept is known as mountain water. So we will explain it. What is this mountain water? Used together, they represent the world landscape. Mountain water, when used together, is a world landscape. The mountain is yang, while the water is yin. The interaction of yin and yang is a fundamental notion of Taoism. There is a third essential element also, that is known as middle voice or the blankness, where their interaction take place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam. Breathe in, retain, and breathe out. The suspension of breath is the void where meditation occurs. The middle voice is essential because this is the only medium through which interaction can take place between yang and yin. Nothing can happen without it. Hence, the white landscape, white unpainted space is very important in Chinese landscape. Man finds a fundamental role in this space between heaven and earth. He becomes the medium of communication between both poles of the universe. His presence is essential. He is the eye of the landscape. A French painter, Jean Debef, first created the concept of art brut. Now we are moving toward the third category of painting, that is art brut, or also known as raw art. And this started in 1940 in France. Then the art of this is the art of untrained visionaries who are not basically professional, who have not gained any professional training to do this, but they have created this out of their own genius. So then the art of unpainted visionary was of minority interest. The outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of internet in international modern art. This particular type of work is the creation of those who have no right to be artists, as it is often said. They have no right to be artists because they have not received any kind of formal training. Yet they show talent and artistic insight. The work of 80 years old Nekchan in India is the biggest contribution to outsider art. He has made a garden sculpted with stone and recycled material. It is known to the world today as Rock Garden at Chandigarh. His art has been recognized as an outstanding testimony to the difference a single man can make when he lives in his dreams. So you can see that this is the we have discussed here three forms of art: the Chinese, the European, and the outsider art or raw art by Nekchan and other. There it started in France. This is the end of the chapter. This is enough for today, and in the next video we will be discussing the textual exercise and some important question. Till then, have a good time.